Hey everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to make oven roasted strawberries. I love this recipe. It's such a great use for strawberries that may be a little bit past their prime. Maybe you washed them and didn't end up using them, so they got a little soft. Maybe they're just not looking as great as they should for fresh strawberries to use for garnishing, but definitely not something that has started to turn and gone moldy. So I really do love these, and the shelf life on them after you roast them is so much longer than you would have for fresh berries. You can definitely keep this around for a week, and you get a really tasty syrup as well. I'm gonna adjust mine on the flavor by adding a little lime zest and lemon zest, just to give it a nice bright pop of springy flavor. But you can use all kinds of other additions to this. If you could add freshly chopped basil or other herbs, you can put tea in with these while they're baking. That great flavor will infuse. So lots of ways to kind of tweak these strawberries to give them a really nice depth of flavor, and they can be a sauce-like component on your plate. They can make a nice topping for a cheesecake or an angel food cake, and then they can even be tossed with additional fresh sliced strawberries or quartered strawberries, just to give a nice variation in texture. So let's get to it. I have my strawberries here, which I have quartered. I had really big strawberries, so you can definitely cut them down a little smaller than that. The most important thing is you want to make sure that all of your strawberries are the same size, so that they will roast all together, and you won't have some that are getting over baked and while you're still waiting on some to break down. I have granulated sugar. Dump that in. The recipe does call for vanilla bean paste, which is fantastic for getting those beautiful vanilla seeds in there, but I cannot get my hands on that right now. You could also, in addition to the vanilla extract, you could add in scraped fresh vanilla bean seeds, but this is what I have for today, so I'm just using the same weight of the paste, just in vanilla extract, so that will go in. And then I'm gonna add, this is a zest of 1 lime, so I'm gonna add about half that in, and then just a little pinch of lemon as well. And then all I'm gonna do is just toss these together. You want to make sure that the strawberries are well coated in the sugar. That sugar is going to help draw out the juices and the liquids from the strawberries. So the strawberries will actually get replaced, the water gets replaced with sugar, and that's what helps give them such a nice shelf life. You'll actually see the color of the strawberries really change too, where instead of you have having this sort of white interior, they will change to be bright red throughout. So now these are ready to go on a sheet pan. I don't put parchment or anything on top. It actually just makes it a little harder to stir. And then you're just going to spread these out so they're just in one layer. The recipe says, you know, hotel pans, splitting this in between. The important thing is you don't want to have a layer be stacked on here. It takes a lot longer for them to bake, and they won't end up having the same consistency when they're done. So the important thing is just making sure you have a tray that's large enough where they can spread out. So I'm going to put these in a 300-degree oven. Every 10 minutes, I'm going to stir and toss these around. Because these areas where we have sugar left on their own without enough juices from the strawberry, they can start to caramelize and then even eventually burn. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping that sugar well mixed so I don't get caramelization or over caramelization. This is after my first 10 minutes of baking, so you can see some juices have started to form here. So I'm just going to give these a light toss. I'm sort of pressing down on the sheet pan to make sure that all of my sugar is staying incorporated. I don't want that baking onto the sheet pan. My strawberries have started to get just a little bit softer, but there's still a lot of firm texture in here, so I know that they are not done yet. So these are gonna go back in for 10 more minutes. This is my second stir of the strawberries. A little bit more juice is continuing to form, just making sure that all the strawberries are well coated in the juice so they do not dry out during the baking. This is what my strawberries should look like when they have finished baking. So the the juice has become more syrupy. It's a brighter red than I saw at the initial stirring, where that looked sort of watery. And you can see that the interior of the strawberries are nice and red, as opposed to that whiter appearance that they had. So these I'm just gonna let cool on the sheet pan. For storage, they definitely need to be kept refrigerated, and then when they're cold, they can be used for whatever sort of topping or garnish that you would like to use.